All right, good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're having a good day and staying cool, staying hydrated. We're going to do a Rashi today from the third Aliyah of this parsha, which is Ekev. In this Aliyah, Moshe Rabbeinu starts to recount some of the episodes surrounding Matan Torah, and specifically the Chet HaEgel, the sin of the golden calf, which is, of course, a disastrous event for the Jewish people. And in one quick pasuk, he says a few words which Rashi elaborates upon based on Chazal. And I think it's a very helpful Rashi to see just in terms of reminding ourselves of how the events took place and how our calendar today mimics those times and those events surrounding Matan Torah, and specifically surrounding the Chet HaEgel and the tshuva process that ensues, because it does really have many ramifications for us as well. So Moshe recounts, "Va'esnapa lifnei Hashem karishona arba'im yom va'arba'im laila." He's saying after he threw down the luchos and broke them, he prayed before God like the first time, 40 days and 40 nights. So he's describing here a process here of an earlier 40 days and 40 nights and a later 40 days and 40 nights, which is actually, if you look at all the psukim together and you get a very clear picture, which you're going to see now in Rashi, actually represents 3 periods of 40 days each. So take a look at Rashi. V'asnapal karishona arba'im yom. Shenemar va'ata e'ele ulai achapra. This is described already back in Shmos, in Kisisa, that Moshe Rabbeinu goes back up the mountain after he breaks the luchos, after he sees the Egel, to try to pray on behalf of the Jewish people. That's what Moshe is referring back to over here. So now Rashi explains, Ba'osta aliyah akafti arba'im yom, nimtzu kalim b'chaf tes ba'av. If you calculate it properly, the second period of 40 days, which he's now describing here that he went back up for, which is the period after Chet HaEgel, after the Shviras HaLuchos, the breaking of the Luchos, which occurred on the 17th of Tammuz. So those 40 days end on Chaf Tes Av, the end of Av, or really next to Rosh Chodesh Elul, Shehu Allah b'Yud Ches b'Tammuz, because he went off the day after Shiva Asar b'Tammuz, Ubon Isratze L'Israel, and it's during this period of time that he appeased God and gained favor for the Jewish people. So the first set of 40 days really occurred from Vav Sivan, from the day of Matan Torah, all the way to Shiva Asar b'Tammuz when he comes down. That was the period of the original giving of the Torah. The second period of 40 days is a period of appeasement. That's the period from the 18th of Tammuz to the 29th of Av, 40 days later. And that's the period of Nisratze L'Yisrael. Va'amar lo Moshe, psolacha shnei luchos avanim. At that point, Hashem tells Moshe, now that you've been appeased, now that everything is reconciled, I want you to carve a new set of luchos so we could start this relationship again. At that point, when he carves the new luchos, asa sham od arba'im yom. That was another 40 days, a third period of 40 days, which nimtzu kalim b'yom kippurim, which if you calculate it, end on Yom Kippur. So Vav Sivan, Matan Torah, till Shiva Asar b'Tammuz. That's period 1, 40 days. Period 2 of 40 days is from the 18th of Tammuz to the 29th of Av. The third period of 40 days is from Rosh Chodesh Elul till Yom Kippur. The 30 days of Elul, the 10 days of Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur, total of 40 days. In that third period, right, the first was Matan Torah, the second was appeasement. The third, which is about the carving of the new luchos, Bo Nisratza Kadosh Baruch Hu L'Yisrael B'Simcha. There was an added level of appeasement that occurs in the third 40-day period, and that is that Hashem, with joy, was appeased. Hashem, with joy, came closer to the Jewish people. There was a rapprochement between the two parties, not just saying, okay, you're forgiven, the slate is clean, but rebuilding the relationship into something more, into something new. It's at that point that Hashem says fully, salachti kidvarecha, I've fully forgiven them, I've fully come close to them again, and therefore it's that third set of 40 days that was designated for all time as a period of slicha mechila, as a period of forgiveness for the Jewish people, which is Elul, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. That whole period of time is one in which we try to go back to that original time when Hashem not only was appeased, but came closer to Jewish people. It puts for us into focus how these 3 periods of 40 days referred to in different places of the Torah all line up in terms of the calendar. And it's also informative for us to understand why it's specifically that last period of 40 days that was designated for all time as the period of tshuva, the period of appeasement, the period of of trying to come close to Hashem, because that whole process is not just about learning Torah, which would have been the first 40 days. It's not just about getting the slate clean, which is the second 40 days. It's really about the achievement of the third 40 days, which is the idea of coming closer to Hashem, removing those barriers, removing, any inhibitions that we have in trying to rebuild the relationship from scratch. Hope we should all be successful in that endeavor, not just in Elul and Rosh Hashanah, but all year round as well. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
Have a great
Rabbi.
day.
Have a good day.
Have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.